Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be putting in the lifters, push rods, rocker arms, and adjusting these guide plates for the push rods. So let me get set up to do that and we'll get started on that. Okay, I've got my push rods laid out here. These are brand new push rods from Eldebrock. It's part number 9629. And the reason I ordered new ones, two things. One of my push rods, or actually two of my push rods out of that old motor, had damage to them, and it looked like it was old damage. It never should have been put back in that motor to begin with. Another thing I'm upset about that motor about. But anyway, with these heads, Eldebrock recommends 100 thousandths longer push rods, so I needed to order them anyway. So I've got those I'm going to put in, and then because I took the cam and lifters, because they were brand new, out of that other motor, I'm putting them in this motor. Even though it's a brand new motor, it doesn't matter normally where you put parts on a brand new motor, except for like the rods and stuff if they're been marked. These lifters, I kept track of them, which hole they go in, because they've already been seated to that new cam. So I don't want to switch these around and end up having it wear weird or wear, you know, a lobe off a cam or something because it's not hitting quite right. In theory, since this is already broke in, it should be able to work just fine. I'm still going to do the break-in period on the motor when I fire it up just to be safe, but there's no reason why these shouldn't work just fine. There's no wear on them or anything. You can see markings on them, but it's just in the surface. There's no wear. So these things are brand new. I'm just going to use them over again. I cleaned them up. I blew all the push rods out with air, even though they're brand new, and checked each one visually, make sure there's nothing down through the center of them, any kind of little chips or anything, because even though it's a brand new part, you want to check and make sure they're good and clean before you put them in your engine, because you just never know. Sometimes a chip could get left behind in manufacturing, and all it takes is one little chip to destroy your brand new engine. So anyway, I've got pre-lube put on each end of the push rods. I'm going to lube up each lifter and put them in individually as I go along so I don't get them mixed up or anything. So let me get the camera reset and we'll do that. You want to be sure and lube up the outside and the ends, and then just drop them in the hole. And I already pre-lubed the cam before I put it in, so there should be plenty of lubricant, and I will pre-lube the whole engine before I ever fire it up. If you don't, you'd run a very good chance of running your engine on startup the first time. Okay, now we'll put the push rods in. They're all the same length, they're all brand new, so it doesn't matter where I put them. So far they look like they're lining up. In this video, we're going to be setting our rocker arm assemblies. So what you want to do is, I got my crankshaft turned to top dead center on the compression stroke. Really doesn't matter where you start. But what you want to do is, the easiest way to do this with a new engine like this is to go through and you can set them right now, and then you don't have to set them again when you get done with the engine. So what you want to do is, with the engine sitting stationary here in the first position, I don't know if you can see that, you can see how much I'm wiggling that rock arm up and down. Okay, so I've already ran him down close, but now I'm going to go ahead and slowly crank it down until I eliminate all that play and just feel just a little bit of resistance on that. On that push rod. Just going to kind of ease down on it just until all the play's gone out of that. Okay, that feels pretty good right there. Then you go to the next one, do the same thing, and you just work your way on around. And then once you make it all the way around, then what you need to do is and you do that all the way around, and then you rotate the engine a quarter of a turn, and you go back through and find the loose ones and do the same thing to loose ones. You go another quarter turn, and you do that a total of 8 times. You take it a quarter of a turn for 2 full revolutions, let's make 8 times, and then once you get there, then all these should, none of them should feel loose anymore, okay? And once you get to that point, then you go back and you turn each nut clockwise 3/4 of a turn, and that will set your lifter pressure. But this is a real easy way to do it. That way, you know, if you're in the middle of doing this and somebody calls you or something and you walk away, when you come back, you know right where to pick up on. There's other ways to do this, but this is about the easiest and safest way. Okay, so that's the first trip around. Now I'll go ahead and crank this a quarter of a turn. Go back around again. See, some of them will come really loose, some of them will be tight yet. So you'll find each time you turn it and you go to check them, there'll be less and less of them that you have to adjust. Okay, so I made 2 complete revolutions on the crankshaft, quarter of a turn at a time. Went around and set all my rocker arms. Now I'm going to go back and put the preload on them. So you want to put 3/4 of a turn of preload on these things. So there's a 1/2, 3/4. So I'm going to go through and just do this with all these. And there you have it. That is how you set your preload on your rocker arms and your push rods and your lifters. So on the next video, I'll be installing the intake and possibly the Holley Sniper EFI. We'll just see how time permits. So Appreciate you watching my videos, and like I always say, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.